The regular session, or special session of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas will now come to order March 4th, 2015, 7:06 p.m. Our invocation will be given by Mr. Pearson tonight. I hope you knew that. And it'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Pearson, will you lead us?
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we ask for your calmness and guidance over this meeting tonight. We first of all want to pray for our mayor and our council. We ask that you grant them and impart wisdom to them this evening and in the days ahead to develop and pass policies that are beneficial to our citizens. Lord, we want to especially thank our military personnel all over the world to defend our right to gather here this evening. As we see the terrible and horrible stories on the news in the last days, it reminds us just how precious freedom is. Lord, we ask your blessings over our family members, our siblings, our friends, neighbors, and acquaintances. And we ask special blessing over our public safety personnel and all those other city employees who are doing those things in the middle of the night, on holidays and weekends, that provide the services and the protection of our citizens and their property. We ask all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. You'll face the flag, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Item number 3 is a roll call. Ms. Sizzle?
Here.
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 Ms. Pacifica?
Here.
Mr. Gallegos?
Here.
Item number 4 is consent agenda. Item A, approval of the minutes of the regular session of February 19, 2015.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular session of February the 19th, 2015.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular session of February 19th, 2015. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item number 5 is citizens' comments. If you're a citizen of or taxpayer to the city, you may speak at this time. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Know that staff and council may not comment. We'll move on to item number 6, which is departmental reports.
Our departmental report after the Public Works Director's message this evening will be by Mr. John Rainey, our Supervisor of Community Development, and we'll move from that point to the managers and then the mayor's message.
Okay.
Council.
Good evening.
On the water side, production and average pumping for February was 1.3 million gallons per day. Our utilities department crews have been working on several water issues, which included a water main break on 281 in Uvalde. They had just now recently finished and repaired that leak and found some gate valves that were damaged, and they've got them back online. So all the customers are back in service, thanks to their hard work. Next week, they will begin replacing all the services on Winship Road from poly to copper. The public will experience some lane closures, and this is part of our street CIP. For our water main projects, the board contractor is working on the 4th bore located right there on Highway 281 and Uvalde Street. Last week, John Medding and I met with our utilities and street supervisors, and we have reviewed preliminary water plans. We have discussed the final layouts and areas of concern anticipated in the project, and have also reviewed and finalized a parts list. The wastewater plant continues to help us in hydro excavating using their combo truck. This has assisted the utility department with physically locating existing underground utilities that will be crossing during our water line construction. Also, Landmark, the water tower contractor, continues on the construction of the tank pedestal. They are approximately around the 40-foot mark. Atascosa River cleaning project is about 65% complete. John Medding is heading this project and has reported very little issues. They have completed clearing the river bank and are now shredding what was removed. They have dewatered a portion of the river and began removal of the sand and silt. They will be removing up to about 4 feet of buildup in certain sections. and they're planning on hauling off the sediment removed next week. The Parks Department continues the maintenance projects at the sports complex and River Park. They have painted and the concession stands, press box, baseball fields, foul poles, and crews are also applied the pre-emergent to all ball fields. Excuse me. Street Department finished up street repairs on Bryant and Goodwin and continued completing service orders. They did the curb and sidewalk repairs were done for the preparation of the intersection projects. And first, 4 intersections to be constructed are Orts and Abilene, Kilgore and Oak Ridge, Gateway and Colony, and Gateway and Oak Haven. Weather permitted will be on this next week. That completes my report.
Questions for Mr. Weezer? Mr. President?
On the river, are they gonna rebuild all the walls, the sides?
On what side?
On the side of the river, are they gonna do it all the way through like they're doing it
Oh,
here?
just from the part right there from Hunt Low Water Crossing all the way to the Pecan Orchard is the only area that they were clearing the banks. On the rest of the project was clearing up a bunch of trees that were impeding in the flood or flow.
It's looking real good.
Yeah, and right now they're just shredding everything that they've removed.
Thank you.
Other questions? I had somebody from the Lions Club, they're having their wall game dinner at the show barn, and there was some I don't know, some type of construction going on. They asked if that would hinder ingress egress at the show barn this weekend.
Oh, for the Fairfield Inn construction, they have not notified us of any water tie-ins, and that would be the only thing that would interfere with that.
I'll pass it along.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, thank you, Mr. Weezer.
Thank you.
Mr. Rainey?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council.
Good evening.
I'm here to give an economic report for the last few years. When comparing the last couple of years, we have seen that there has been a steady increase of development from new construction to remodels, with a spike in 2014 development. Economic development from January 1, 14 to December 31st, 2014 was $90,545,000 for 2014, which we experienced a 135% increase in development from 2013. Economic development for total in 2013 was $38,600,000. For 2013, the year we experienced a 17% increase from 2012. This was a 33% increase from 2011. The economic development total for January 1/11 to January 31st, 11 was $21,065,000. We are still experiencing growth so far. This year we have had $14,991,000 in economic development. This is a slight decrease of 41% from 2014, but a 63% increase from 2013. There are still good signs that the development will continue because we are still receiving inquiries from what does it take to develop and what kind of permits do I need to build. Mayor, Council, in the last year we did over 90 million economic development compared to the last 2 previous years of 30 million. I just wanted to point that out. We've been extremely busy and hopefully we continue to grow. Any questions? I stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have the staff reports as submitted. We'll move on to special recognition by the County Fire Marshal Todd Perna. We have we have agenda item number 7 first.
Todd.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Evening.
I would just like to take a little opportunity to recognize the Pleasanton Fire Department. We had a fire. It wasn't in the Pleasanton area, but Pleasanton responded to this call. And more often than not, we see a lot of the negative feedback in the fire service. So I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize the group of individuals that came to this fire from Pleasanton. I have, in my position, I have a chance to work with all the volunteer fire departments that are in the community. But this particular fire, in my opinion, Pleasanton volunteer fire department rose above that. And when I say that, a lot of times we have volunteers who say we're volunteers, and then we have volunteers who do. And everybody knows that we've been struggling with trying to retain volunteers. In the society that we're in today, everybody has to work. It takes both the husband and wife usually having to work full-time, which makes it harder for us to retain those volunteers. This particular fire, we had a house fire. When I arrived on scene, we had very little flame showing and a lot of heavy smoke. The fire began to progress, and we had very limited number of manpower on scene. They were squirting water from the outside of the house. Nobody wanted to go inside, which in turn started pushing a lot of the fire through the remainder of the house. I elected to call for Pleasanton. Pleasanton showed up on scene. This was in the middle of the day with 9 guys on that engine. They rolled in with 3 engines, 9 guys, and made an aggressive attack on this fire. Didn't hesitate, went right inside and did a fantastic job of knocking this fire out. So I just really thought that the council as well as the citizens should know that, and it starts at the top. You know, it starts with the training, and I see that in this group of guys. They train, and they're very good at what they do, and I wanted to pass that on to everyone here.
Thank you. That makes us proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and council, most of the firemen are here tonight that made that call. I'd like to introduce them if I may.
Please.
Over in the corner, Tito Carrasco. He's a lieutenant with the department. Jared Murray. Nick Ingram over here in the corner, he's a rookie with us. Aaron Leal. Rennie Boscus, he was one of the ones who were in. James Garcia with the camera. Miss anybody?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Item number 8 is the city manager's message, city manager's special recognition.
Mayor, through it all, I think the chief deserves no less than a standing applause. Chief, my hat's off to you. Our message this evening is a special recognition and quite a special story attached to it. I received quite a lengthy email several weeks ago from the Sayre family out of Michigan. Over the Christmas holidays, they were given a free trip to South Texas to see her grandmother that lives out at Medina Lake. One of the days they elected to take a day trip to the Rockport, Port Aransas area. On their way back, they decided to come through the city of Pleasanton. A situation took place at a stoplight and their rental car was totaled. With 3 boys in the car and grandmother, and the boys totaling 4, 8, and 11 in a strange town. In the first car accident any in the family had been in over 34 years. She first of all noted that there was a Pleasanton police officer and fire department on the scene, and less than a minute with the police and less than 3 minutes with the rest of the fire department and police cruisers that showed up. She said, this is where our story begins to stand out. You had one officer that put us in his patrol cruiser and took us to the police department till we could decide what we were going to do. Not knowing what to do, the first thing we began to do was call the rental car agency at San Antonio International Airport. They said, well, we can't come down there and pick you up, but if you can get a ride to the airport, we'll issue you a rental car. They gave the report number, Pleasanton Police, all the critical information to the car company. They then asked the dispatcher, after gaining some faculty, if you will, to make a call to a taxi cab company in San Antonio and asked them to come pick them up. After about 15 minutes, the dispatcher called them up to the window and says there is no taxi cab company in San Antonio that will come get you. She said, by the way, the mother said, by the way, we noticed while you were on the phone, one of my sons lost his wallet during the accident. Is there any way you could call that officer and see if the wallet might be in the back of the police cruiser? She said, yes, he's off duty, but I'll call him at home. The call was made. He went out and checked the police cruiser, could not find the wallet, but told them to tell the family, told the dispatcher to tell the family he would contact the impound lot where the rental car was the very next morning at 6 a.m. and go over and look in the back of the rental car. And he asked the dispatcher, it's after 7 p.m. Why are you calling me now? She told the officer the family was still at the police station with no way to get back to San Antonio. He merely told them to hold there, not make any decisions, and he would get back with them. Within 15 minutes, the officer showed up. Did not have a car to take all 5 of them back to San Antonio, so he went to his mother's house and borrowed his mother's car. This is where the story gets tough for me. He then put the family in his mother's car and drove them all the way to San Antonio on his personal time after spending 12 hours on the job that day. Upon arriving at the rental car agency at San Antonio International Airport, we felt like he was a part of our family. She says she wants to personally commend him and that their family feels like they're a part of Pleasanton now. He steadfastly refused to take any money. He steadfastly told them, please don't tell anybody I've done this. My recognition is in the satisfaction I get in helping my fellow man. Jessica, Joel, William, Clayton, and Addison Sarah. And oh, by the way, Grandma's fine. She went on to say that in a strange town, what a welcomed and refreshing situation with customer service. If your officer is any example of the rest of the employees in the city of Pleasanton, he said, we would just love to live there. We can't even imagine what would have happened if this would have happened in Michigan, in a strange place. We would hope there's another Pleasanton in the state of Michigan. With that being said, Mayor, I'd like for the mayor and the council to come off the stand after the presentation. Recognition. The Office of City Manager recognizes Officer Clayton for delivering the ultimate in customer service and police work to the citizens of Pleasanton, Texas, and helping a family in need of assistance. Clayton. The chief and I'd like to take a picture with him if that's all right. Thank you.
Mr. Pearson asked me to say a few words. I did not prepare for that at all. I'd just like to say the department would do the same thing. I wish they could all receive the recognition. They do this every day. Without question, they don't want any recognition. I don't want a recognition. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Thank you, Chief, Mayor, Council. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Item number 9 is the mayor's message and announcements. I just have two. One of them is the Chamber of Commerce Awards Banquet is tomorrow night, honoring the people who have served and dedicated time to our community. It's at the Community Center, Civic Center at 6. Thank you. And then the other one is whether or not we decide, or what action we decide to take later to accept or decline. At this time, I would like for us to recognize Ms. Rabazo for her dedication and service. So, but I am going to recess us for about 7 minutes. Okay. 7 minutes, so you can come up and at least talk to Mr. Rabazo. There's going to be some refreshments at the back. Please feel free. When we reconvene, if you're still milling around, that's fine, but we'll take a recess. So regular session is recessed at 19:27, 7:27 p.m. Special session of the City Council of the City of Pleasanton, Texas, hereby reconvene at 7:41 p.m. Item number 10 is presentation of annual racial profiling report by our Chief of Police, Sanchez.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
I've submitted our annual racial profiling report. It's as submitted. If you have any questions.
Any questions? And it is displayed for those in the audience if you'd like to see. Any questions, Council? No. All right. Thank you, Chief. Item number 11 is action on request to close Hunt Street between Smith and Main Street on Sunday, March 22nd, 2015, from noon until 6 p.m. for Winter Garden Pumper Race Competition.
With your permission, Mayor, can I present that?
Absolutely.
With Chief Garris's permission. It is as submitted, and we're open for any questioning.
Ms. Israel.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and close Hunt Street between Smith and Main Streets on Sunday, March 22nd, 2015, from noon until 6 p.m. for Winter Garden Pumper Race Competition.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close Hunt Street between Smith and Main Street on Sunday, March 22nd, 2015, from noon until 6 p.m. for Winter Garden Pumper Race Competition. Any discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 12. Thank you. Item number 12 is discussion action to award the bid for one used dump truck for the street department, for one used dump truck for the utility department.
Mayor, I'd just like to clarify, this is 2 used dump trucks. Okay.
Okay, so 2 for 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Presented, sir. My recommendation is to direct the city staff to purchase 2 dump trucks, one for the street department and one for the utilities.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel,
I'd like to make a motion.
please.
To direct the city staff to purchase 2 dump trucks from Santex Truck Center for the total amount of $80,000.
Second.
Can I get you to amend that to 80,600?
Yeah, oh, my glasses, right? 80,600.
Mr. Gallegos, you maintain your second?
Yes, sir.
Moved and seconded, direct the city staff to purchase 2 jump trucks
sad.
from Santex Truck Center for a total amount of $80,600. Any discussion? None will proceed to the vote. In favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 13 is discussion action to award a bid for the sale of city-owned right-of-way between Highway 97 East and 5th Street and Market and Crockett Streets, and also for the 4th Street right-of-way between Crockett and Market Streets.
Mayor, the council directed us several months ago to move to abandon this property and to list this property for sale. The fair market value as appraised by Ekman Grohl is $49,500. There was 1 bid submitted to St. Andrew's Catholic by St. Andrew's Catholic Church for that price or that quote, we recommend the sale as directed by council to St. Andrew's Catholic Church for $49,500.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos.
I move to approve the city-owned right-of-way between Highway 97 East and 5th Street and Market and Crockett Street and 4th Street. Right-of-way between Crockett and Market Street be sold to St. Andrew's Catholic Church in the amount of $49,500.
Second.
Moved and seconded to sell the city-owned right-of-way between Highway 97 East and 5th Street and Market and Crockett Streets, and also the 4th Street right-of-way between Crockett and Market Streets, sell to the St. Andrew's Catholic Church in the amount of $49,500. Any discussion? None will proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 14 is discussion and action to use hotel motel funds to expand the Longhorn Museum 10 to 15 feet on the east end for a dedicated space to hold special events and travel exhibits and include parking and drainage. Councilmember Israel,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
please.
I'd like to make a motion to use hotel motel funds to expand the Longhorn Museum by 10 to 15 foot on the east end for a dedicated space to hold special events and traveling exhibits and include parking and drainage.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to use hotel motel tax to expand the Longhorn Museum by 10 to 15 feet on the east side for a dedicated space to hold special events, traveling exhibits, and include parking and drainage. Any discussion? None will proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 15 is discussion action to change the days and hours of operation for the Longhorn Museum on weekends. Councilmember Israel,
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
please.
I'd like to make a motion to change the days of operation for the Longhorn Museum to Saturdays from, I'll say Saturdays for the hours to be decided by city management.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to change the days of the hours of operation for the Longhorn Museum on Saturdays, hours to be determined by city management. Any discussion?
Mayor, I have a question.
Mr. Gagos.
So the museum will be open Monday through Saturday, is that?
With that, it would, if this passes.
Yes, and
'Cause it is open.
I would think that they would be able to rotate Saturdays or something to that effect. I'd leave that up to the city management to decide how that would work.
We'd ask for an amended motion to open the Longhorn Museum from 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday instead of 8 to 5 and adjust the Saturday hours accordingly based on the recommendation that I've asked our Director of Facilities and Activities to give me.
Mr. Gallegos, possible amendment?
I'm sorry?
I think
The motion.
Oh,
Ms. Pacifica seconded it, but
Okay, well, I will amend the motion to change the hours Monday through Friday from 9 until 5, from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., and that the hours will, for Saturday to be determined by staff.
before anybody seconds that, I just need you to add the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, because we already have that.
I thought that's what I did.
you did.
Well, you added Saturday, and it's already in there. All
Okay,
right,
Monday through Friday.
Second.
Ms. Pacifica, you can't
Oh,
second.
right.
Yeah, Mr. Best can. All right, we have a winner. It's moved and seconded to change the days and normal operating hours for the Longhorn Museum for Friday, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and Saturday hours to be determined by city management. Any discussion on the amendment? There's none. We'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion is amended. The amended motion is to change the days of operation for the Longhorn Museum, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday to be determined by city management. Any discussion?
Be open.
Be determined by city management.
City management.
They're going to determine when that is. Any other discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the amended motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 16 is presentation and discussion of audit report for fiscal year 2014. Mr. Wayne Byer.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. I believe everyone has a copy of the audit report. And in doing so, would you please turn to page 1 and 2 of the audit report? This is our opinion letter. This is our opinion on the financial statements of the City of Pleasanton for the year ended September 30, 2014. This is an unqualified opinion, which means basically that nothing came to our attention that would cause us to qualify our opinion in any manner. And also we were given or provided all the information we had requested to examine. On page 1, where it says auditor's responsibility, that first paragraph under that says our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. We conducted our audit according to auditing standards, the only except in the United States of America. So what that means is that we have rules and procedures we must follow when performing an audit, and we state here that we followed all those rules and procedures. Next, if you would, I'd ask you to please turn to page 19 in your report. On page 19 is the general fund. It kind of gives you a bird's eye view of what happened in the general fund last year. That second column in that page is the budget, the final budget. That third column are the actual income and expense figures, and that last column is the budget variance column. A couple of points here. If you look at the top of page 19 where it says total revenues, your total revenues in the general fund last year was $11,098,000. If you go just to the left, your budgeted revenues was $7.6 million, so you exceeded your budget on your revenues in your general fund last year by $3.4 million. And if you look up above there under sales where it says taxes, sales, your sales taxes, you had budgeted $4 million last year. You brought in $6.8, almost $6.9 million, so you exceeded your budget by $2.8 million last year in sales tax. Below that, in the middle of the page, are your expenditures. If you go down towards the bottom where it says total expenditures, your total budget expenditures was $7.893 million. Your actual expenditure was $7.8 million, so you were under budget by $49,000 last year. It's a good-looking financial statement, actually. Overall, if you stay in that third column, if you go down a little further, where it says net changes in fund balance, budgetary basis, your actual, from operations themselves, you had an excess of revenues over expenditures of $3.197 million last year. If you go right below there, you had a transfer out to your community center. Library fund for the community center was $8.39 million. So if you subtract that from your excess, overall you had an increase or net change in fund balance of $1.358 million last year in your general fund. You started the year, if you go down one below that, of $7.3 million in fund balance. Add those two together, it gives you an ending fund balance of $8.6 million. And if you compare that to your expenditures last year, if you go up where it said your total expenditures was $7.8 million, you see that you have more than 1 year's coverage in your general fund reserve.
Just to get it out there, what's a common?
25%. You try to get 25%. Okay, and then moving over to page 23 is your utility fund income statement. There you have three columns. That first column is your income and expenses for the year I'm presenting. That second column is the prior year, so you can kind of compare 2 years. The big item on that first column is in the middle where it says operating income loss. Your operating income last year from just utility fund operation was $924,000. And the prior year is $842,000, so it increased by about $80,000. And I might add that, even though it seems like quite a bit, I've seen operating surpluses like that disappear overnight. I mean, because these utility funds, the costs are constantly going up. So that's a good-looking financial statement, and I would endeavor to keep that kind of a profit in there. A couple other things on page 47 is your debt schedule. This is the debt, all of the debt of the city. Your first column is your beginning debt. You had $15 million of beginning debt. And that fourth column is your ending balance debt at the end of the year is $19.5 million. And then one other thing in this report is on page number, and I'm not going to go through it, but it's for your reading, is on page 57 are the rest of the funds of the city. And you might look at that in your leisure. There are two inserts in the audit report. This first insert has invoice exam on it. That's the management letter. During our review, one invoice was not paid timely. Civic Center, we noted that one file is showing a payment of $150 for rental of the Civic Center in July was not deposited or turned over to the general ledger. If you go down to a recommendation, that was receipted into the general ledger on February 12, 2015. And this other letter is an internal control letter. And if you turn to page 2 in that internal control letter, this is like ever since Enron went under, internal control has been a big part of auditing. That first one is segregation of duties. Because it's a smaller city, they don't make any distinction between the city the size of Pleasanton and say city the size of San Antonio. San Antonio would have the staff to cover all facets of internal control, whereas Pleasanton does not have that. Number 2, transfers and due tos and froms. We recommend that all the transfers be tied out, reconciled on a monthly basis. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Byer?
Mayor?
Cicero.
Mr. Byer, is there any way to note the fact that the segregation of duties continues? I mean, if we took a look at what we had as far as segregated duties 2 or 3 years ago, even 4 years ago, to what we've segregated to now, is there no need for that type of a notation? Because it's huge. We now have a financial director and, you know.
What they're looking for, what they're looking for is 2 things. They're looking for a mindset. In other words, city council, starts with city council, to adopt some sort of a resolution or something that says we are hereby going to be involved in internal control within the city. And then the other thing they're looking for would be some kind of internal auditor, someone who's inside the city, internal auditor, who's answerable to, say, someone like the city manager or some, you know, and that's what they're looking for. You're probably, you know, because I would say that the controls are better, yes, compared to 4 years ago, but it's not what they're looking, you know, it's not up to the level what they're looking for. You would almost have to have, like, say, like on the finance function, you know, you'd have to have someone to open the mail, someone to get the mail, someone to make a list of the mail, someone to make up a deposit, someone to check deposits, someone to take the deposit to the bank, someone to do the bank reconciliation, someone to check the bank reconciliation, someone to post the general ledger, so on and so forth.
So we're never going to be perfect, and we're never going to have it all done.
But if you do what I said, like, you know, adopt some kind of resolution or a mindset, and then follow through with maybe getting some sort of an internal auditor to go check all the different like the municipal court, account inventory, all these different things, address them at least once a year. That's what they're looking for, and that would get rid of this comment.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be someone full-time. It can be someone part-time, you know. But
Well, I appreciate that, but for me personally, we've watched the city just do amazing things as far as making the changes that we were able to now that we're in a financial position to do so, and certainly the report speaks for itself. So it's good to know that, but I'm just thrilled with the actual amount of segregation of duties that there is, and certainly that could be something the council could consider in the future, a resolution to continue to support the great job that the city is already doing. I appreciate that. Thank you for answering that question.
Thank you, Mr. Byer.
thank you.
And thank you, administration and staff, for making this look good. I mean, looks very nice. I'm going to deviate from the agenda and go to agenda item number 18. The special session of March 4th, 2015 is hereby recessed to hold an executive session pursuant of Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, Subchapter D, as it pertains to personnel matters, 551.074. Executive session matters may be discussed in open session if appropriate. Time is 7:58 p.m. The special session of March 4th, 2015 is hereby reconvened. The time is 8:22 p.m. All right, on to item number 17 is discussion and action to accept the resignation and retirement of Cindy Urbazo as city secretary.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel.
as much as I wouldn't like to, I would like to move to accept the resignation and the retirement of Cindy Urbazo as city secretary.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the resignation and retirement of Cindy Urbazo as city secretary. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor. I would just like to thank Cindy for her loyalty and her dedication to the city for 30 years. And I remember the day that we asked her to serve in that capacity, and she did. Kind of took a little twisting of her arm, but she took the position. And she's been an excellent city secretary, and those shoes are going to be very hard to fill. And she has made our job so much easier and does a lot for the city, and she goes beyond her position and her duties. So thank you, Cindy, and I'm gonna definitely miss you. And I wish you the best, you and your family, and all the happiness and good health.
We only have to do this 6 more times.
I would like to say something in behalf of Ms. Orabazo that, I don't know, I'm thinking it hard myself. I'm an old man, but I'm sentimental. Because of the reason that Cindy and I have worked in this city hall together for the last 30 years. And you know, it's just like if I was to see my youngest daughter or my oldest daughter get married. That's the way I feel. And I'm gonna miss her. I was shocked. Looked like somebody poured some cold water on me when Cindy told me to sign. If you know or you're aware, I'm asking you to tell you that I'm resigning. I'm retiring. I said, Cindy, you're not that old. I'm older than you are. So she said, well, age don't mean anything. I got my seniority in. So I have to say that Cindy, I love her as my daughter, her parents, mother, aunt, everybody within the family of her immediate family. I'm gonna miss you, Cindy. I'm gonna miss you.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel.
being the shy, retiring type of person that I am, I have to say that becoming a councilwoman was certainly quite a challenge for me. And it was a great relationship. We started off not knowing each other and knowing each other first as women working in a very demanding place. And I respect you, Cindy, and I really appreciate the job you've done, the assistance you've given me, and I wish absolutely the very best for you, the happiest possible retirement, and many trips to Las Vegas with a big smile on your face. Absolutely. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank all of you very much.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.
With that, we'll move on to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 21, there's no business to cover there. So by acclamation, we will dismiss agenda item number 21.
Mayor?
Unless there's an objection.
Mayor, I move to dismiss agenda item 21.
It's moved and seconded, we dismiss agenda item number 21. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 23 is discussion and possible action to consider an appointment of a city secretary.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
I move that we approve the appointment of a city secretary be Andres Aguirre as an interim city secretary for the city of Pleasanton.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve appointment of city secretary being Andreas Aguirre as the interim city secretary for the city of Pleasanton, Texas. Any discussion? If none, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 23, discussion of possible action to contact contact with Atascosa County, conduct the 2015 City of Pleasanton municipal elections.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos.
I feel with the short period of time that we have before the city election in May, that I think that would be a big job for Andres to handle, because usually city secretary does conduct the election. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I move that we approve contracting with the Atascosa County to conduct the 2015 City of Pleasanton municipal election.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to contract with Atascosa County to conduct the 2015 City of Pleasanton municipal elections. One of the easiest things we've read tonight, and I can't get it right. Any discussion?
Yes, and Mr. Mayor, I think that will just consist of the amendments that have been brought before the voters.
Any other discussion? If none, we'll proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 24 is review of the bills. Please speak now if you would like to review one of the bills.
No, sir.
All right, item number 25.
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second, we adjourn. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 8:29 p.m.